There's something extraordinary happening quietly across the world. Something doctors rarely talk about, something most seniors don't even realize is possible. While many people over 60 wake up tired, move slowly, lose confidence in their bodies, and feel the weight of aging pressing on them, a small, rare group of seniors live completely differently. These men and women wake up with energy. They stay strong enough to carry groceries, walk long distances, stand up from a chair without using their hands, and move through their day with power and grace. Their minds stay clear, their emotions stay stable, their drive for life never fades. Their awareness of their health becomes sharper, not weaker, with age. And here is the stunning truth: none of this happens by accident. These rare seniors have figured out the 5 behaviors that keep the body young, the brain sharp, the emotions steady, and the spirit alive, behaviors so powerful that researchers studying longevity call them the difference makers. But most people never hear about them. Most seniors are told that fatigue, weakness, emotional instability, low motivation, and declining awareness are just normal signs of aging. That is simply not true. These 5 habits are so transformative that those who practice them do not age the way others do. They walk differently. They stand differently. They respond to stress differently. They live differently. They become the kind of older adults younger people look at with admiration. And the most remarkable part? These 5 habits do not require expensive supplements, miracle pills, intense workouts, or complicated routines. They require awareness, intention, and a willingness to treat your body like something worth protecting, and the results can begin in days, not months. Let me tell you about a 72-year-old man named Robert in North Carolina. For years he believed aging meant slowing down. He napped often, avoided long walks, and chalked his fatigue up to just getting old. But when he reunited with a friend of the same age who still hiked mountains, cooked elaborate meals, and had the energy of someone 20 years younger, Robert realized something. Age wasn't the problem. His habits were. Within 3 months of adopting just 2 of the 5 behaviors we'll discuss today, he woke up one morning and said to his wife, "I feel like I'm back in my own body again." That is how powerful these habits are. Across the ocean, in Spain, a 68-year-old woman named Elena shocked her doctor when she improved her balance, strength, and emotional stability without medication. She said, "I didn't get younger, I just stopped aging the wrong way." Her secret? She followed the same 5 principles you're about to learn. And in Norway, an 80-year-old retired teacher named Henrik still wakes up before sunrise, walks to the harbor, and starts his day with a steady, focused energy most young adults don't have. When asked what keeps him going, he smiled and said, "I don't act like an old man. I treat my body like a partner." Again, the same 5 habits. These seniors are not superhuman. They simply learned the truth. Aging does not decide how you live, your daily habits do. And of all the habits humans can practice, 5 of them stand out above all others as the markers of rare, remarkable aging. 5 that determine whether you wake up with energy or exhaustion. 5 that determine whether you maintain strength or lose it year after year. 5 that decide whether you stay emotionally grounded or feel easily overwhelmed. 5 that shape whether you maintain a hunger for life or fade quietly into routine. 5 that either disconnect you from your body or reconnect you with it more deeply than ever before. The stunning thing is how quickly these habits change the body. When a senior begins practicing them, mitochondria, your internal power generators, produce more energy. Muscle fibers begin firing again, hormones stabilize. The nervous system stops overreacting, inflammation drops. Awareness sharpens and motivation returns. Doctors often see these changes and call them rare exceptions, but the truth is far simpler. These seniors aren't rare by nature. They are rare by choice. And in a moment, you will see how these 5 behaviors work inside the body and why practicing even one of them can change everything about how you move, think, and feel. But before we break them down, understand this. Aging does not have to mean shrinking, slowing, or becoming fragile. Humans were never designed to decline as quickly as modern lifestyles make them. With the right habits, you don't just slow aging, you rewrite it. There is a reason the very first sign that separates remarkable seniors from the rest is what happens the moment they open their eyes in the morning. For most people over 60, mornings feel heavy. The body feels stiff, the mind feels foggy, and getting out of bed feels like lifting a weight. But in the rare adults who age exceptionally well, the morning feels completely different. They wake up with clarity, strength, and a quiet fire inside the chest, something doctors often call restored vitality. This special group isn't born lucky. Their energy is not the result of perfect genetics. It comes from one powerful behavior they protect more fiercely than any pill, supplement, or exercise routine. They manage their morning chemistry, the unique biological rhythm that governs how much energy your brain, muscles, and hormones have the moment you wake up. To understand how powerful this is, you need to see what happens inside the bodies of most seniors at dawn. After 60, cortisol, the hormone responsible for waking you up, rises too early or too late. Melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep, lingers too long in the system. Mitochondria, the tiny engines that power every cell, start slowly, like an old car in winter. Blood sugar fluctuates wildly, inflammation peaks, and the brain enters the day in a defensive, tired state. That is why so many older adults wake feeling drained before the day even begins. But the remarkable seniors, the rare ones, reverse this whole system. They teach their body to wake up with intention, with rhythm, with oxygen, with movement, with light. They don't rely on luck. They rely on a ritual that rewires their morning biology. One of the best examples is a 66-year-old woman named Margot from the Netherlands. For years, she woke exhausted. She hit the snooze button repeatedly, dragged herself from bed, and needed 2 cups of coffee just to feel alive. She assumed she had poor sleep or low iron or simply bad aging, but when she joined a senior wellness program in Rotterdam, she learned that her big problem wasn't sleep, it was how she woke up. Her first 5 minutes of the day were damaging her energy for the next 15 hours. Her instructor taught her a simple morning reset ritual used by high-performing seniors across Europe. Sit up slowly, breathe deeply for 60 seconds, drink water before coffee, expose her eyes to natural light, and move her joints gently for 2 minutes before starting the day. It sounded too simple to matter, but within weeks, her energy transformed. She said she felt switched on, like her body finally remembered how to wake properly. Her doctor was stunned because her blood pressure, inflammation markers, and morning glucose all improved, not from medication, not from supplements, but from waking her body intentionally. This is what rare seniors do. Their secret is not intensity, it is precision. Across the Atlantic, a 74-year-old man named Harold in Boston had a similar experience. He had spent a decade feeling exhausted every morning, blaming old age for his low energy. But after suffering a minor fall one winter morning, he decided he needed to take control of his health. A therapist asked him one question: "What's the very first thing you do when you wake up?" Harold admitted he checked his phone immediately, scrolled through news, and rushed out of bed. His therapist taught him a technique called the 3-part rise. Open the eyes. Breathe, sit, ground the feet, and let the nervous system stabilize before standing. Within a month, Harold said his mornings felt 40 years younger. He didn't change his diet. He didn't start exercising intensely. He simply changed how he entered the day. And everything else began changing with it. The reason this habit works so powerfully is because the first 3 minutes after waking determine your hormone balance, your nervous system state, your muscular readiness, your circulation, your cognitive sharpness, your metabolic rhythm, and even your emotional stability for the rest of the day. Most seniors start their morning with chaos, checking the phone, rushing, sitting in darkness, drinking coffee before water, skipping movement, pushing their body before it's awake. Remarkable seniors start with order, intention, and biological alignment. When they wake up, they give the body oxygen before stress. They give the brain light before information. They give the muscles movement before pressure. They give the stomach water before caffeine. They give the nervous system calm before stimulation. And by doing so, they signal to the entire body, you are safe. You are strong. You can begin the day with energy. The result is smoother blood flow, lower inflammation, sharper cognition, and a sense of calm motivation that lasts all day. This is why the rare seniors you see jogging at sunrise or smiling at the grocery store midday don't look tired. They built their energy at dawn. Another powerful example comes from Ingrid, a 71-year-old Swedish grandmother who lived alone after her husband passed away. She found herself waking depressed, sluggish, and unmotivated. Her mornings felt like walking through mud. One day, her granddaughter asked her to try a sunrise tea ritual. She would wake, drink warm lemon water, open the curtains fully, sit for 2 minutes in sunlight, and stretch her arms overhead for 30 seconds. At first, she resisted. It felt silly. But she agreed to try it for 1 week. On day 6, she told her daughter something extraordinary. "I don't feel alone in the morning anymore. My body meets the day with me instead of against me." Her emotional state improved. Her muscle stiffness dropped. Her appetite normalized. Her sense of purpose returned. Why? Because the morning is the most powerful phase of the day to influence brain chemistry, hormone release, and emotional regulation. Scientists studying aging now know that the morning cortisol curve, mitochondrial activation, circadian alignment, and first-hour behavior are directly linked to long-term vitality. Seniors who master the morning typically walk better, think clearer, sleep deeper, and recover faster than those who don't. The first habit, waking with energy, is not about motivation. It's about biology. Anyone can do it. And when they do, they join the tiny percentage of older adults who feel truly alive when the day begins. But having morning energy alone doesn't make you rare. What makes you stand out even more is the second behavior, the one that predicts independence, mobility, longevity, and even survival after 60 more powerfully than any supplement, diet, or medication. It is the ability to maintain physical strength, not gym strength, not athletic strength, but real, functional strength that determines whether you can carry groceries, get out of a chair, climb stairs, and live independently for decades. And that brings us to the second habit of rare and remarkable seniors. If there is one habit that predicts whether a person over 60 will live independently or slowly lose mobility year by year, it is this one. Not diet, not medication, not genetics. It is strength, not the kind built with heavy weights or gym machines, but the quiet functional strength that allows you to rise from a chair without pushing off with your hands, carry a bag of groceries without struggling, take stairs without gasping, or catch yourself before a fall. This type of strength is the dividing line between seniors who continue living life on their terms and those who gradually shrink into fragility. And the truth that doctors rarely explain is this: after 60, losing strength is not natural aging. It is unused muscle giving up because the brain no longer sends its strong signals. But the remarkable seniors, the rare ones we admire, never stop sending those signals. They practice the one form of physical training that keeps them biologically younger than their age: resistance through daily life. To understand this, you must first know what happens inside the muscles of most older adults. Beginning around age 60, motor neurons, the nerves that activate muscle fibers, begin disconnecting. When the nerve dies, the muscle fiber it once controlled also dies. This is why seniors lose leg strength faster than arm strength, why stairs become harder, why balance worsens, and why falls become terrifyingly common. But here is the remarkable part. When muscles are challenged, even with simple movements, the body creates new nerve pathways, new connections, new strength. The decline is not inevitable, it is reversible. The rare seniors understand this intimately. They don't train like bodybuilders. They train like survivors, with intention, with consistency, with movements that force the muscles to stay awake. One of the most inspiring examples comes from Bernard, a 78-year-old retired librarian from Lyon, France. He was never athletic, never a regular exerciser, but after a minor slip in a supermarket forced him to grab a shelf for support, he realized his legs were no longer dependable. His doctor warned him that he was at high risk for falls. Instead of accepting it, Bernard began a simple ritual every morning. Before walking to the kitchen, he stood up and sat back down 10 times without using his hands. The first day he could barely do 4. His thighs burned, his breathing was heavy. But he persisted. Within a month, he could do 12 without strain. Within 3 months, he could climb stairs without gripping the rail. A year later, his balance tests matched those of a man 20 years younger. Bernard didn't get lucky. He fought for strength and won. Across the world, researchers have discovered that seniors who maintain even small levels of functional strength have dramatically lower rates of cardiovascular disease, depression, dementia, and mortality. Strength is not only physical, it is metabolic. Strong muscles regulate blood sugar, protect joints, reduce inflammation, and improve circulation. This is why remarkable seniors seem to walk lighter, move smoother, and maintain better posture. Their muscles act like a protective system around their bones, organs, and nerves. Without strength, every part of health collapses. With it, everything improves. Another story comes from Sofia, a 70-year-old grandmother from Portugal who had always believed she was too old to train. After her husband passed away, she began noticing that lifting a laundry basket made her arms shake and her legs tremble. Her daughter convinced her to join a community strength circle, a group of seniors who met in the park each morning to practice simple strength patterns: standing tall, stepping sideways, rising from a bench, pushing gently against a wall. These movements awakened her body in ways she had forgotten. Within weeks, her confidence changed. She stopped avoiding public places. She felt safe walking alone again. She even said her grief softened because she no longer felt physically weak. Strength became her therapy, her identity, her proof that she still had power. The scientific explanation behind her transformation is simple. Strength training increases neuromuscular connection, the communication between brain and muscle. When these pathways strengthen, movements become more stable, joints feel lighter, blood flow increases, falls decrease, and the body regains its sense of capability. For seniors, capability is everything. And there is one more truth: maintaining strength doesn't require gyms, trainers, or equipment. Remarkable seniors stay strong because they integrate resistance into daily life. They squat down to pick things up instead of bending over. They rise from chairs without using their hands. They carry their own grocery bags instead of asking someone else. They take stairs slowly but intentionally. They balance on one foot while brushing their teeth. These small acts accumulate into powerful biological protection. In Norway, an 83-year-old former carpenter named Henrik still shovels small amounts of snow from his walkway each winter. Not because he must, but because he knows it keeps him strong. His doctor once said his leg muscles resembled those of a man in his late 50s. His secret was not youth, it was movement with purpose. This is what most seniors misunderstand. Strength is not about exercise. It is about signals. Muscles grow, or at least stay alive, when the brain tells them they are needed. When seniors stop sending those signals, the body decides the muscle is no longer essential, and it disappears. But the rare, remarkable seniors continuously send signals through small, daily challenges. The difference is visible. The average older adult struggles to stand from a chair. The remarkable older adult stands effortlessly. The average older adult feels unstable walking on uneven ground. The remarkable older adult moves confidently. The average older adult feels fragile. The remarkable older adult feels capable because capability is trained, not given. And here is the most important truth of all. Maintaining strength is the one habit that affects every other habit on this list. When seniors feel physically strong, their energy improves, their emotions stabilize, their motivation increases, their independence grows, and their awareness of their health sharpens. Strength is not a luxury after 60. It is the foundation of survival and vitality. And yet, physical strength alone doesn't make a senior remarkable, because some of the rarest qualities appear not in the muscles, but in the mind. Which brings us to the third behavior almost no one over 60 masters, but those who do become the calmest, most resilient older adults you'll ever meet. If there is one trait that separates the most resilient, admired, and steady seniors from everyone else, it is not strength, not intelligence, not even health, it is emotional control. The ability to remain calm when others panic. The ability to respond instead of react. The ability to carry peace inside the mind even when the world feels overwhelming. Seniors who master this are rare, and the older they become, the rarer they get. But here is the part most people don't realize. Emotional control is not a personality trait, it is a biological skill. One that can be trained, strengthened, and rebuilt at any age. Most older adults are told that emotional instability, irritability, anxiety, frustration, sensitivity, or low resilience is simply part of aging. But that is not true. What is actually happening inside their bodies is a shift in stress hormones, neurological processing speed, and inflammation levels that cause the brain to misinterpret normal everyday challenges as threats. This means a small inconvenience can trigger a big emotional reaction. This is why some seniors feel overwhelmed by noise, sudden changes, or even simple daily tasks. One powerful example is Helene, a 76-year-old widow from Belgium. After her husband passed away, everything triggered her. She cried easily, felt anxious daily, and snapped at her grandchildren for small things. She believed something was wrong with her. But a therapist explained that her emotional system had become dysregulated after years of stress, loneliness, and sleep changes. So he taught her a simple practice used in longevity clinics across Europe, the 30-second emotional reset. Each time she felt overwhelmed, she paused, placed one hand on her chest, breathed slowly through her nose, and directed her attention to the sensation of her hand rising and falling. It took only 30 seconds. But over time, this rewired her stress response. 6 months later, she told her daughter, "I feel like I have myself back." Her grief didn't disappear, but her emotional strength returned. Here's why practices like hers work. Emotional control is deeply tied to the vagus nerve, the body's internal calm switch. When this nerve is strong, seniors stay grounded, think clearly, and recover from stress quickly. The rare seniors strengthen this nerve daily, not with complicated routines, but with simple habits that keep their nervous system flexible. Slow breathing, gentle stretching, morning sunlight, mindful movement, and small moments of calm before reacting. Another incredible story comes from Samuel, a 69-year-old former bus driver in Ireland. Years of work stress and poor sleep had left him irritable and quick-tempered. After retirement, his blood pressure shot up, and his doctor warned that his emotional state was contributing to cardiovascular strain. Instead of medication alone, Samuel began practicing something his grandson showed him, a 2-minute walk and reset ritual. Every time he felt upset, he stepped outside, walked slowly for 2 minutes, focused on the sensation of his feet touching the ground, and breathed deeply. At first, he felt silly, but within weeks, he noticed fewer emotional spikes. His doctor later confirmed that his blood pressure stabilized and his sleep improved, all because he shifted his emotional physiology. Scientists studying aging are now clear. Emotional control isn't about being calm. It's about protecting the brain from inflammation, protecting the heart from stress hormones, and protecting the immune system from chronic overactivation. When seniors lose emotional control, their cortisol spikes, their blood pressure rises, their arteries constrict, their sleep worsens, their memory declines, their appetite becomes irregular, their motivation disappears. But when they regain control, even partially, their entire biology responds positively. The remarkable seniors you meet, the ones who always seem grounded, kind, steady, unshaken by chaos, are not born that way. They practice emotional mastery the same way others practice physical exercise. They pause before speaking. They breathe before reacting. They choose perspective over panic. And the most important thing, they understand that emotional strength is not avoiding emotions. It is experiencing them without drowning in them. A beautiful example comes from Maria, a 73-year-old from Barcelona who volunteered at a community center. She had endured years of financial stress and health scares, yet she radiated calmness. When someone asked her how she stayed emotionally strong, she answered, "I don't fight my emotions anymore. I watch them like a passing cloud." That simple mindset protected her nervous system. Her doctor once described her heart rate variability, a key measure of emotional resilience, as unusually youthful. This is the secret of rare seniors. They choose emotional regulation as a daily practice. And because of that, they age slower, connect better, think clearer, and protect their health more effectively than almost anything else on this list. Emotional control reduces inflammation, improves sleep, strengthens immunity, stabilizes hormones, and protects brain function. If there is one thing that truly separates the rare, remarkable seniors from everyone else, it is not their strength, not their diet, not their perfect habits. It is the fire inside them. Their drive, their will to wake up each day with intention, curiosity, and purpose. Drive is not motivation. Motivation rises and falls. Drive is deeper. Drive is the quiet engine in the background that keeps a person engaged with life. It is what makes someone over 60 continue learning, continue growing, continue trying, continue caring. And what most people do not realize is that drive is not a mindset. It is a biological and emotional force that can be strengthened or weakened, depending on daily habits. For many older adults, drive begins fading in their 50s and 60s. Not because they lose interest in life, but because their brain's reward system begins slowing down. Dopamine, the chemical responsible for motivation, focus, and desire, naturally decreases with age. When dopamine dips, everything feels harder. Starting tasks, finishing tasks, planning, socializing, even getting out of bed. Life begins shrinking. Days feel repetitive. Excitement fades. This is when many seniors begin believing they are slowing down or getting old. But the remarkable seniors, the ones who stay lit from the inside, do something completely different. They protect their dopamine. They train their purpose. They live with intention instead of routine. One compelling example is George, a 79-year-old retired engineer from Toronto. After retirement, his life became quiet, too quiet. He slept more, moved less, and slowly began feeling invisible. His daughter noticed his spark was fading and encouraged him to join a woodworking group at a local community center. He resisted at first. "I'm too old to learn something new," he said, but she persisted. By the end of that first month, he was waking early, excited to work on a project. His posture improved. His mood improved. His energy improved. His doctor even noted that his blood pressure dropped. Why? Because his drive returned. He found something to live toward, not just live through. Drive extends life. This is not poetic, it is biological. Seniors who maintain a sense of purpose have lower rates of stroke, dementia, depression, and cardiovascular disease. Why? Because purpose increases dopamine. Dopamine improves circulation, strengthens immune function, enhances metabolic health, and activates regions of the brain responsible for planning, movement, and reasoning. A senior with drive walks differently, thinks differently, ages differently. Another powerful story comes from Isabelle, a 63-year-old French nurse who felt her life collapse when she retired. She described retirement as losing the map. For years she woke with no purpose. She felt heavy, slow, disconnected. One day, her son asked her for help caring for his newborn. She spent 3 hours with the baby feeding, holding, singing, and afterward, she felt something she had not felt in years: relevance, being needed, being useful. Within weeks, her drive returned. She started volunteering at a women's health center. She began taking evening walks again. She cooked new recipes. Her entire health transformed, not because of medicine, but because her brain regained a reason to move, to engage, to exist. What most people misunderstand is that drive does not come from excitement. It comes from investment. Seniors with drive invest in relationships, learning, creativity, movement, community, or spiritual growth. They anchor themselves to something larger than their daily routine. That sense of connection fuels dopamine, testosterone, estrogen, serotonin, all the chemicals that keep the brain sharp and the spirit alive. Without drive, the brain begins shutting systems down. With drive, the brain wakes up. New neural pathways grow, new memories form, new circuits activate. One of the most striking scientific findings in aging research is that seniors who set even small daily goals maintain better muscle tone, better cognitive speed, and lower inflammation compared to seniors who live without intention. This means the simple act of having something to look forward to, a garden, a hobby, a phone call, a class, a walk, literally slows aging. But the rarest seniors go even further. They don't just maintain drive, they maintain drive for life. They stay curious, they ask questions, they explore new ideas. They challenge themselves, they refuse to shrink. They refuse to surrender their identity to age. Their spark becomes their armor. Such a senior is Agneta, an 81-year-old from Sweden known in her town as the unstoppable grandmother. She paints, she hikes slow trails, she takes online history classes, she helps neighbors, she adopts stray cats, she still rides her bicycle around her village. When asked how she keeps going, she always answers the same. I still want things. Her want, her desire, is her longevity. She grows not because she avoids aging, but because she stays engaged with life. And yet, drive alone is not enough. Drive without awareness becomes unsustainable. Which brings us to the fifth and final habit, the one that remarkable seniors practice quietly, consistently, and with more discipline than anything else. It is not glamorous, it is not exciting, but it is the foundation that holds everything together. It is the habit that tells you when something is wrong inside your body long before symptoms become dangerous. The habit that prevents disease, protects movement, and keeps seniors independent longer than any medication ever invented. And that is awareness, true, deep, daily awareness of your health, your habits, and your body's signals. Of all the habits that make a senior rare, remarkable, and ageless in spirit, this is the one that quietly supports everything else. Awareness. Not fear, not obsession. Awareness. The kind of awareness that tells you when your breathing is different, when your sleep is changing, when your energy is shifting, when your balance isn't what it used to be, when a new ache appears, or when something inside you is calling for attention. Most older adults ignore these signals. They dismiss them, delay them, or assume they are just aging, but remarkable seniors do the opposite. They listen early, they adjust early. And because of that, they stay stronger, sharper, and healthier longer than anyone around them. Awareness is the invisible habit that separates seniors who thrive from seniors who decline. It is not about self-diagnosing or worrying. It is about being connected to your own body in a way that modern life often numbs. Most people spend decades ignoring their health signals. They override fatigue with caffeine. They override stress with distraction. They override pain with medication. But after 60, the body becomes honest. It whispers before it screams. And the seniors who age remarkably well are the ones who learn to hear the whisper. Take Eleanor, a 74-year-old schoolteacher from Scotland. For years, she lived fast, rarely slowing down, always prioritizing others. After retirement, she felt her energy fading. At first, she blamed the weather, her diet, or sleep. But one morning, she stood up from her sofa and noticed something worrying. Her balance felt slightly off. Not dramatic, not dangerous, just off. Most people would ignore it. Eleanor didn't, she paid attention. That awareness led her to improve her hydration, adjust her morning routine, strengthen her legs, and visit a physiotherapist. Within weeks, her balance returned to normal. Her therapist told her, "You prevented a year of decline by responding early." That is awareness in action, catching the problem before it becomes the problem. Another remarkable example is Nicholas, a 68-year-old from Copenhagen, who began noticing subtle changes in his walking pace. His wife said he looked a little slower during their daily strolls. Instead of brushing it off, he reflected on how much water he'd been drinking, how much sleep he was getting, and whether he'd skipped his leg exercises. His awareness led him to discover he had been dehydrated for weeks and sitting too long during work-from-home calls. With simple adjustments, his walking speed returned, and he avoided the cascade of weakness many seniors fall into. His doctor said most people wait until their legs weaken before taking action, but the remarkable seniors act at the very first sign. Awareness also applies to habits, the small, daily behaviors that either protect your health or silently damage it. The rare seniors are not perfect. They eat sweets sometimes. They skip exercise occasionally. They have stressful days. But unlike the majority, they do not let a bad day become a bad week or a bad month. They notice when they slip. They correct gently and quickly. This is why their aging curve bends upward instead of downward. One of the most inspiring examples of habitual awareness comes from Jeanette, a 70-year-old from Montreal. Every night she spends just 60 seconds asking herself 3 questions. How did my body feel today? What did I do that helped it? What did I do that hurt it? This tiny ritual has kept her healthier than many people decades younger. When her knees feel stiff, she increases her walking the next day. When her sleep feels restless, she avoids screens at night. When her digestion feels off, she adjusts her meals. Her awareness acts as an internal compass guiding her away from decline and toward stability. Her granddaughter calls her the most in-tune woman I know. Awareness even extends to emotional health. The remarkable seniors don't just monitor their bodies, they monitor their minds. They can tell when irritability is creeping in, when loneliness is rising, or when stress is draining their energy. Instead of ignoring it, they respond. They call a friend. They take a slow walk, they rest, they breathe. They read, they reconnect. Their emotional awareness protects their nervous system from overload, and this makes their aging slower and more graceful. But awareness also has a more powerful effect. It creates ownership. Seniors who stay aware feel in control of their aging. They don't feel like victims of time. They don't surrender to decline. They participate in their health, they adjust, they refine, they choose. And this sense of ownership is one of the strongest predictors of longevity ever studied. Researchers call it self-efficacy, but seniors call it something much simpler. I can still take care of myself. The rare seniors you admire, the ones who seem to age beautifully, the ones who radiate strength and stability, all have one thing in common: they pay attention. And because they pay attention, they make better decisions. And because they make better decisions, their bodies reward them. Awareness is what keeps them strong. Awareness is what keeps them safe. Awareness is what helps them catch health issues early. Awareness is what directs their habits, their energy, their strength, and even their drive for life. Awareness is the quiet force behind every powerful change. If you're over 60, hear this clearly: you are not destined for decline. You are not meant to fade. You are not designed to lose strength, lose energy, lose stability, lose purpose, or lose connection to your body. The human body is far more resilient than most people ever realize, and these 5 habits prove it. The seniors who rise with energy, move with strength, stay emotionally steady, maintain drive, and remain aware. They do not age the way others do. They age with power. And the beautiful truth is that you can begin this transformation today. Not by doing something extreme, not by buying expensive supplements, not by pushing your body beyond its limits, but by practicing what the remarkable seniors practice daily. Wake with intention. Move with purpose. Choose calm over chaos. Feed your drive. Listen to your body. Do these and you will not age quietly. You will age remarkably. If this video helped you understand what truly keeps people strong after 60, hit the like button, share it with someone you love, and subscribe for more senior health breakthroughs. And if you're ready for the next video, where I reveal the top 7 morning habits that slow aging by up to 10 years, click on the video right here. Your health. Your strength, your life, they are still yours.